Alright guys, well today I have for you Dark Samus. It's kind of a disappointment, I know, because just a lot like Samus. Dark Samus doesn't have too many changes from regular Samus, but Sakurai made them two separate characters, so I guess I'll treat them as such as well. And there are some differences that we'll get to, just like in this first part where I kind of go over like certain movement things. Yeah, basically, Dark Samus has a larger hurt box than Samus does, just because the way that Dark Samus stands is just a little more spread out, I guess. Just kind of like standing bigger. So it actually makes it a lot easier to hit Dark Samus versus regular Samus, just in this sort of standing position. So that's unfortunate right off the bat. But Dark Samus does have some advantages over Samus in sort of just movement stuff. Dark Samus's roll, I didn't mention Samus's roll, but Samus does not have a very good roll. Dark Samus doesn't either, but it's better than Samus's. Samus rolls up in this little ball and like slowly scoots over and stands up. It's super punishable. Dark Samus is like 3 frames better, if I recall properly, and it feels a good amount faster just to roll with Dark Samus versus regular Samus. The weight is the same, so both of these guys are pretty heavy, which means that they can live a longer time. But again, like both of them are slow as well. Not terribly slow, but could definitely be faster in the air and on the ground. That's another thing. Dark Samus's and Samus's dash dances are a little bit different. I find that Dark Samus's are a little easier to maneuver, but overall it shouldn't be a like very big deal. It's just like these small little movement things. But yeah, that's it for this first section, and on to the next. Alright, so Dark Samus's aerials are gonna look a lot like Samus's aerials. This up air, we'll start with it. It's decent for juggling. You can shark people with this, hit them in the air, hopefully kill at higher percentages, like all the way up there. It's like, it's not the best move though. Like you can't, when you're landing with it, as you can see, there's like lag as you land, which means that you can't do any sort of like drag down conversions like you'd see with Joker or a different character that kind of has a similar looking up air. You're just not going to see that. There's too much ending lag on this. But for in the air and just trying to shark out your opponent, it's not bad, but it's not great either. But definitely has its uses. Onto Dark Samus's neutral air. This looks much the same as Samus's as well. But as you can see, it does move pretty fast. And the same stuff I was saying before, where you switch up your opponent by either hitting the front part of their shield or the back part with the back end of the neutral air. I think that could be a pretty cool mix-up to keep your opponent on their toes with Dark Samus as well. And I do think that can make shield pressure with this character, with this move, reasonably safe. And it's more likely for your opponent to screw up than for you to get punished, I think, at least for the first few rounds of playing set opponent with this character. So overall, I imagine you can use this for combo breaking really quickly as well. Probably doesn't excel at that usage, but just if you know someone's coming right at you from the side, you can just kind of kick them in the face. So that's pretty decent. I also see this being able to be used if you think your opponent's going to enter the air. The range isn't bad, and it's pretty quick. Also, off stage, I imagine this is pretty useful just because it's quick, and it's like you can throw out a good amount of these off stage while you're reading what options they're going to do. So overall, pretty good. Onto his forward air. Well, I think it's still a her with Dark Samus. I'm not sure. But Dark Samus's forward air, it's got a lot of the same issues I said in the Samus video. It's really hard to hit a standing opponent. And when you do hit it, like, the Pikachu can which would be me. But like if a Samus player tried to hit me with this, for the most part, I'd just be able to hit them like for trying to hit this. As you can see, like you do leave a whole like half of your body exposed when you're doing this at the start of the move. Then at the end of the move, it's just not very safe when you're hitting an opponent even. That's if you hit them with the very end hitbox, which sends them out. I mean, this can be used for like air-to-air reads if you think the opponent's going to jump right at you with some sort of aerial, and that could be decent. But this move takes a long time. It's got a good amount of lag on it, and it doesn't provide you with any sort of real protection. You're still very vulnerable to get hit while using this move due to the issues I articulated a second ago, where his whole like bottom half of his body's showing, and like the payoff when you hit this isn't large at all. So overall, I don't have a high opinion of this this forward air. It doesn't like, you can use it air to air, and that's practically it, and that's its usage. And that's as far as it goes with that, because for comboing or for shield pressure, this move is practically useless. It seems like maybe a little bit in comboing to end a combo or something like that in certain situations, but even then, I don't imagine it's used very much. I mean, off stage, you can kind of use it, but again, it's just like I don't think it's going to be as effective as some of other Samus's other options. And your opponent can like do this thing where they're just going to read that you're going to do that if your opponent's good enough, and then they can actually punish you if their character is good enough. And so that'd be super unfortunate, and that's a quick way to die if you're Samus. But yeah, onto his next move, which is his back air. So again, much the same as Samus. This move, it has a lot of range, so which means it's going to be pretty good, like beating out your opponent's aerials. It's going to be pretty good for edge guarding just because it's strong and you can throw out a good amount of them off stage and still make it back safely. And yeah, this is probably going to be the thing, maybe not the thing, but one of the things that Dark Samus is going to use a lot to kill opponents, just because it is a kill move. It is decently fast. You can also pressure shields with this, even though it's not the easiest thing to space, just to throw it out. With opponents that are smaller, like Pikachu, like if I were to do that rising, it would not hit Pikachu. It wouldn't hit a lot of characters, I don't think. But overall, this move's pretty good because you can space it. Can lead into some combos like that at lower percentages, and overall, this move is going to be very useful and probably Samus's best aerial. Alright, on to her down air. So this move is really laggy. As you can see, it takes a long time for that move to finish up, and landing with it isn't bad, but it's not great either. So overall, this move is going to have like only very situational usages. You can use this off stage against like Fox or Falco or another poor recovery, where you can just kind of down air them after that they've committed to some option. But again, like against a character that has a better recovery, throwing this out can actually be risky for yourself because it takes so long that like if Pikachu ended up on top of Dark Samus there because they chose an option different from what the Dark Samus thought that they were going to choose, the Pikachu can actually just come down and just kill the Dark Samus, which is really unfortunate for Dark Samus. So I really don't think against characters with good recoveries you should be jumping out here and throwing this move out a lot. It is decent at reading a spot dodge. If you think that they're going to spot dodge, just jumping right over them and hitting them with the down air can lead to a pretty big punish, something like that. There's probably even more optimized stuff. But again, like these moves, you shouldn't be like throwing out this move all the time. It's decent when you have a read on what your opponent's going to do because it can lead to a decent punish, hopefully. But off stage, it has situational uses as well. But overall, I don't think this move should be used all that often. Onto Dark Samus's jab, grab, and dash attack. So Dark Samus's jab looks like that, just like Samus's. And as you can see, it leads to a knockdown, which is pretty good because knockdown situations can lead to grabs for you or smash attacks or whatever amount of options could happen, because you can put them in a jab lock if they miss the tech, and when they tech it, you can get a tech chase. So overall, it's pretty good to have your opponent in that knockdown position. Unfortunately, this jab isn't all that great. It's very punishable on shield because of how slow it is, and if you throw it out, you can probably actually get punished just for throwing it out if your opponent's paying attention and you're too close. So the range on it's not great, and its overall speed isn't that great either. But at least it leads to a knockdown situation, so it does have that usage. As far as grabs, up throw is probably going to be the main combo throw for this character, as well as it was for regular Samus. Forward throw and back throw, mostly positional throws to get just kind of put your opponent where you want them, whether you want them in front of you off the stage, behind you, to get them off the stage over here. Just whichever way you want to send them. It's a positional throw. It's not going to get you anything guaranteed followed up. Then we have this down throw, which is it's like a combo throw because it leads to that forward air right there. And at higher percentages, it puts them in a poor position where they end up up here. That's a really tough position to be in as well. But this throw is like a combo throw, but I think his up air is better for comboing, and it's better for killing because his up throw is actually a kill throw. So overall, I think his up throw is his best throw. His forward and back throw will still get plenty of usage, just because those type of positional throws, you should always be trying to get in a really good positional advantage state. So you're probably going to be using those regardless. And then down throw, you could kind of use as a mix-up, but overall I think up throw is going to be the staple of this character in the grab game. Onto Dark Samus' dash attack. So this dash attack, it's got a lot of the same issues that Samus's does. Sorry about that. It's just it's slow, it's punishable. See that pull-up time where you can't really do anything. Your opponent's going to have a lot of time to try to punish that move, especially if they have a projectile that's fast and can just come hit you at the end of that move. But they can punish regardless if they're in good positioning. And it really doesn't lead to a lot as far as combos goes. If really anything, I mean, you can dash attack into dash attack at 0%. I'm still even pretty sure there are ways out of that if you DI it, because it doesn't put you into that much hit stun. So I don't think this move's very good. It's not safe on shield. There's too much lag on it. And it doesn't really lead to much when you get it. So overall, it's one of those moves that you might want to throw out if you have a very hard read on your opponent. You can't think of a better way to hit it besides this burst option. But overall, I don't think the move is very good. Onto Dark Samus' tilts. So let's start with his up tilt. I mentioned his down air being good at reading spot dodges. I think this move is better at reading spot dodges personally, but obviously you can only use it when you're grounded, and you can only use your down air when you're in the air. So that way, Dark Samus at least has a way to cover spot dodge effectively on the ground in the air. If you read a spot dodge here, as you can see, it puts your opponent in a really poor position where they get spiked into the air. And then you can hit a harder punish or some optimized combo for it. And even the up tilt does a good amount of damage all by itself. So this move is going to be pretty good for that purpose. Unfortunately, I really don't see another purpose to this move. It might be safe on shield if you space it completely properly. But if the Pikachu gets in that type of area, I imagine they'll be able to punish it just fine. So, and also as an anti-air, it should be pretty good if you think your opponent's just going to jump up in the air and right above them. This move will probably work. So as an anti-air and as a spot dodge reading tool, I think it's pretty good. But overall, those uses are kind of situational, so you're not going to be using it too much. Onto his forward tilt. So this is just like I mentioned in the other in Samus's video. This is going to be the move that you probably use in neutral the most when you're grounded, as far as normals. Just because it has a lot of range, that's going to be safe on shield. Unless if they parry it, but it's going to be safe on shield. It'll lead to knockdown at a little higher percentages, which can lead to a good conversion. So you're going to want to be using this move a lot just because it has a lot of range. As you can see, it's safe, and it can lead to those bigger conversions from the knockdown state. And on to the down tilt. So this move actually has some pretty significant changes from Samus to Dark Samus. So when Samus uses this move on shield, it's actually much more punishable than when Dark Samus uses this on shield. Dark Samus actually has his down tilt actually has 6 more frames of shield stun, which is like a crazy amount more. Like 6 frames is a lot for this type of thing. So this move's overall probably going to be a lot better, especially when you're landing it on shield. The damage is the same, and it works just the same to 2-frame them. So this is like a straight buff from regular Samus. It's just like the move is better. Like it does more shield stun. The damage is the same. So it's like it's only gotten better. And so that's a positive. Overall, I still don't think the move's very good. It'll kill at very high percentages, but it's still laggy when you just use it at the ground. Me as Pikachu would be able to attack a Samus player and punish them pretty hard for throwing out this move maybe more than once or twice. Like if I was expecting this move, that'd be a really big punish. So I don't think this move should be used a lot besides for 2-framing or some like other kind of like weird reads, like if you think they're going to spot dodge at a really high percentage, you could probably throw this out. And if it hits shield, hopefully you'll be able to get away with it because there's more shield stun. But that's kind of it for his tilts. Onto Dark Samus's smash attacks. So Dark Samus, unfortunately with Pikachu, it's not going to be any different. But this up smash actually starts like a lot lower than Samus's. So against like medium-sized characters, this move will actually hit out of shield, which I was talking about in the Samus review, is that it sucks that you can't use this move out of shield. Against Pikachu, you don't have to worry about that at all, just because Pikachu is still too short. But against different characters, this will actually hit as an up smash out of shield, and that's pretty fast and that's pretty good. So Dark Samus players should be happy about that, even though I still don't think it'd be terribly good. I don't think this move's that great in general, just because it takes a lot of time to perform. There's a decent amount of ending lag, and it's really not like terribly strong. Onto his forward smash, and you can angle this forward smash up and down. This move is pretty good, just like I said with other Samus. It has a little less range with Dark Samus than regular Samus, which is kind of strange. But it mostly functions the same. I mean, it's like this technically does like electric damage or something like that, and the other one does fire damage. But the effect is practically the same, just this has a little less range. But you can use this for 2-framing if you point it downwards, and that can lead to earlier kills. You could have done the same thing with Samus though, and this move's okay. It's nice that the Dark Samus leans back, but overall it's not something you should be throwing out too often, but it can lead to a decently early kill. Onto his down smash. His down smash, just like I said with Samus, I think this is probably Dark Samus's best smash attack. You can use this out of shield actually, and read a roll behind or something like that. It's a little more precise with the shield timings because you can't just do it directly out of shield. You have to drop shield and then do it. So it's a little bit more difficult, but I think it's probably the better out of shield option. And this also reads roll behind really well because you can just throw it out and it'll hit behind you. I believe this 2 frames as well, which is decent. So overall, I think this is Samus's best smash attack. At lower percents, you see it leads to this knockdown, which could lead to more percentage, as I've talked about a lot. But I don't think it's that great either, though. I mean, it's useful. It has its uses. It's not going to kill very early, but like it might be decently safe on shield if you space it perfectly, like at the farthest range. Like right there, I doubt Pikachu would be able to punish that out of shield, besides maybe back air. But it's one of those moves where I don't think it's all that great because it won't kill that early, and it's like decent to hit in this game just because a lot of characters want to be jumping a lot, spend a lot of time in the air. So just to kind of throw this out, it has to be on some sort of movement read, like a air dodge, and you're not sure where they're going to land, so you throw out a down smash or a roll behind, so that way it can hit their shield or hit them as they roll, which is really good. And that's what it's going to be used mostly for. In neutral, trying to run up and down smash or something like that just isn't going to go well for you. At least probably not, but as out of shield and on different movement reads, it's pretty good for that purpose. Onto Dark Samus' special attacks. So let's start with this up B. You're obviously going to use this move to recover a lot, but I want to talk about it on stage right here. So I mentioned it with Samus. This up B out of shield is pretty good. If someone touches your shield, you can basically just press up B, and they're probably going to get caught in the spinning vortex, and that's pretty good for you. It'll kill at like really high percentages, but that's not how you should be accounting for your kills. It's just a solid conversion, puts them in disadvantage just because they fly up like that. You don't have like the most time to react afterward. It does get a little bit better at higher percentages, as you can see, but as an out of shield option, it's pretty good. I wouldn't really use it otherwise unless you're like really high in the air, jumping off a platform. You have read that your opponent's gonna try to jump over you or something like that, so you up B to kill him. I mean, it could be used there, but other than that, mostly an out of shield option. And for an out of shield option, it's pretty good. Onto his side B, or her side B, I should say. There's this green one. It's just like the Samus's green one. It does more damage, and it flies a little faster. This will actually fly a little bit lower than regular Samus's, but it's really not that useful because both kind of hit Pikachu anyway, and Pikachu's a really short character. So it's not like too big of an advantage for Dark Samus or anything like that, but it's still notable. And I think the green one's probably better just because it moves faster and does more damage. But the pink one is pretty decent as well because it's heat seeking. You can use the green one off stage and it's probably going to be pretty good for that. But I feel like the pink one might just be a little bit better off stage because it'll actually follow your opponent. They'll probably up B early, and then it's more likely that they'll end up in a poor position. Because you haven't had to change your position from the ledge, so you'll be like in a prime place to stop whatever they're doing. So overall, I think this move is really good as a neutral tool, just gaining space, and off stage as well. So I believe this move is really good. Pikachu will have a way around it. A lot of fast characters will have a way around it, but just because you have a way around it doesn't mean that it's not good. Like, when I have to act in a way to get around missiles, it has limited my options as well. And if one of these hits, especially off stage, I could be in big trouble. So overall, I think this move's very good. And onto his next move, and that's his charge shot. I forgot to mention in the last video, you can charge this in the air now, which is pretty good. And you can B reverse it and stuff like that to try to get out of disadvantage. So that's pretty cool as well. But I mentioned this in the Samus video. This move is critical to a Dark Samus's success or failure. How well can they utilize charge shots? Can they use them to kill? Can they land all their charge shots? How many charge shots are getting blocked? Etc., etc. So this move does a lot of damage, and it'll kill pretty early. It does 34 or 33.6. And that could swing the match of a game. If you land 3 charge shots in a game, there's a pretty good chance you're winning that game just because that's a lot of damage. That's a whole stock worth of damage. As long as you don't have to sacrifice too much to get those charge shots, it's going to be pretty good, especially when you use it at like critical moments, because you can use this off stage. Use it off stage, your opponent's at like 30%, like out there, because you backthrown them or something like that. oh, that's going to be really good because that's just going to kill them. And wow, you've stolen a stock basically, and it all comes from this charge shot, which is tremendously strong. But you have to hit it if you want to be successful as a Samus player, I think. But if you do hit it, this character can look pretty good, just because it's a really strong option. Onto his down B, or her down B again. Well, I don't really know with Dark Samus. I don't know the Samus lore. But this move's going to be much the same as it was with Samus. It's not going to lead to anything on stage when you hit it. It's just a decent amount of damage. It's a tool out of disadvantage to just kind of like get away, set roadblocks for your opponent who's trying to chase you. It's decent for that purpose. It'd obviously be a lot nicer if this move actually comboed into something. But you could also use this. There's some like movement options like that you can use it for, but that's not really that great. But you can also use these off stage to like connect one into the other, and that can help you travel a greater distance and get back onto the stage from a sticky situation. And yeah, but overall it's not a very good move just to throw out, and it really doesn't lead to anything after you hit it. The opponent, or in this case Pikachu, is hardly in any hit stun. When I get hit by one of these bombs, I'm like not even worried about it. I'm like, oh, I got hit by a Samus bomb. It's not like it's terrible to get hit by one of these things. But I mean, Dark Samus is a better character because he/she has it. But I don't know if that's really saying a lot because it's not like the greatest move, but at least it does something. Okay, onto Dark Samus's recovery, edge guarding, and how easily this character gets comboed. So recovery is not terrible with Dark Samus. I mentioned in the other section in the other video, you can link these bombs together, which will help you get back on stage a lot easier in certain situations. And you also have this tether, which will grab onto the ledge for you. And tethers are actually pretty good in this game for recovering. So it's a pretty good tool to have to help you get back on. Just because of how long this tether is too. You can hit it from a very long distance. So I think Dark Samus has enough mix-ups to get it back on the stage a lot of the times. But like this game's premier edge guarders, talking Pikachu, Pichu, Lucina, those type of people will be able to kind of beat Dark Samus up off stage. Even with Dark Samus's mix-ups, Pikachu can cover just a lot of options off stage while the Dark Samus is trying to get back. And overall, that'll lead to a pretty hard position for the Dark Samus player because they're going to need to pull out everything to try to get back on stage. While these like really good edge guarders don't even have to really be doing all that much. Like it's not like it's the hardest sequence to kill a Dark Samus off the level. But anyway, onto Dark Samus's edge guarding. I mentioned this forward air can be used for it. I don't really recommend it. It's not a terribly good move. It doesn't have great knockback. If you're like all the way out here, you can't see your opponent, so you want to throw something out that lasts a long time and might be able to hit the opponent, and you don't need a lot of knockback because it's so close to the level, then like fine, it's probably a good idea to do it. But that's like a really rare case of like series of events that you find yourself in that position. It's going to be tough to make it back from there as Dark Samus if you're going that deep. So I don't see that move being used too much, but I do think this back air is going to be pretty good for edge guarding against bad characters with like mediocre to poor recoveries. This neutral is the same way. Against someone like Ganondorf or Captain Falcon, you can probably just throw this move out. It's probably going to hit. It's probably going to kill them. So that's pretty cool. Also, edge guarding his special moves. You can throw like a bomb off stage to like cover people just going to the level right away. I don't think it's going to do all that much, but you can use like the missile, the heat-seeking missile, to get out there. And also this charge shot can also land you a very early kill, just using it on the level or running off and doing it. Just covering whatever like plane you want to send that thing on. So that's pretty good for edge guarding. And I forgot to mention his downer. And his downer, again, this is something you can use against characters with bad recoveries. Against characters with good recoveries, I really would not think that people would use this a lot, just because it puts them in a position where they can get reversaled and killed for using this move just because it is so slow. But overall, I think the edge guarding is decent, especially on characters with poor recoveries. And Dark Samus might be able to do something against characters with good recoveries as well, but it's not going to be as free or as easy as the ones with bad recoveries, and definitely not one of the best edge guarders in this game. As far as how easy it is to combo Dark Samus, Dark Samus has a larger hitbox than regular Samus, which means it's going to be easier to combo Dark Samus. Dark Samus is going to be kept in disadvantage a little more of the time. And overall, Samus isn't a hard character to combo particularly. So Dark Samus with the larger size, he/she is really going to get beat up. Just going to be kept in disadvantage for a long time. Probably going to spend a lot of the match just trying to get back down onto stage and that sort of thing. So as far as getting comboed and disadvantage, Dark Samus really isn't that good. In fact, a little bit worse than Samus, which wasn't good in those positions anyway. But that kind of closes it up for Dark Samus. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a little repetitive because my Samus video has just come out and it's a lot of repetition, but don't blame me, blame Sakurai, I guess. That's it.
Alright guys, I wanted to share with you the plans for this channel going forward. So basically you're going to see more of these videos where I just kind of look at a character's moveset and what do I think players of that character should be doing in a match against me. And then later on I'll see if I was right by playing like online matches, and once I get a good sample size of that, I'll see, hey, maybe this is what the characters want to do, or maybe I was right all along. So kind of as a consequence of that, you will be seeing some highlights from my stream on here, just because that's where I'm going to get the information from when I make these character assessments later on. So speaking of my stream, come follow me at LiterallyDonate, and yeah, thanks for watching.